worry. You don't have to start by doing all 5. I don't want you to be overwhelmed and think, oh, I can't do all 5 things and then procrastinate about doing any of them. So pick 1 or 2, implement them, and then you can come back and add the rest later. Now, we've all gotten caught up in procrastination, right? I know I certainly try to go there until I catch myself and bring myself out of it. One of my favorite stories about procrastination, though, comes from Janelle Holden, who published this story on Facebook back in 2013. Janelle wrote, "This is how procrastination happens. I'm in the middle of writing an important document, emphasis on important, when I hear a song on my internet radio that reminds me of a song I heard 10 years ago by an Australian band at a small music festival in Colorado. Random, I know. At which point I think, I wonder if that band's still around. I then completely drop what I'm writing and Google the band to learn that they broke up in 2005 and the lead band members don't seem to be doing anything at all anymore, which makes me kind of sad and reminiscent of when I saw them in 2001 and how long ago that was and how old I'm getting, and completely forgetful that I'm trying to get something done. This goes on for at least 10 minutes until I write this post. And this, my friends, is why procrastination cannot be beat." Boy, I can relate to that. Can you? I absolutely relate to it. Apparently, procrastination is a very common problem. Just Google it. There's lots of articles, lots of books. Years ago, my brother gave me this book, How to Stop Procrastinating and Start Living. It's a great title. And if I remember correctly, it was written by one of his professors when he was in seminary. And so my brother gave it to me as a gift. And I understand it's a really great book. And one of these days, I want to get around to reading it. But All right, seriously though, if we're going to succeed in our business or our remote work jobs or pretty much anything else, we've got to beat procrastination. So today I'm going to give you 5 tips to help beat those tendencies to procrastinate. All right, tip number 1, break it down. A lot of the time, probably most of the time, I would venture to guess probably 80 to 90% of the time when we're procrastinating on a task, it's because that task isn't really a task, it's a project. It's a lot of little tasks. And what happens when we look at it, we kind of get overwhelmed and we shut down because it's so big. Now, my friend Matthew Kimberly has a saying that he says that overwhelm does not come from having too much to do. It comes from not knowing the next right step. And so I think when we look at this task and we feel overwhelmed and we shut down, that's exactly what's happening. We're not really sure where to start. And so rather than start, we do nothing. So what we want to do is take that task and break it down into smaller steps, little bitty things that you can do. So for example, I've been procrastinating about getting these live videos going. And one reason was because I wanted to stream to multiple places at once. And I got this great software called Restream to help me do it. And there's a lot to learn. And so it's easy to keep, putting it off and trying to figure it out. So what I do is I broke it down step by step. Yesterday, all I did was stream the first video through Restream, send it out to multiple destinations. Today, I've added the captions that you see down in the corner. Tomorrow, I'll add something else. So just break it down step by step. And by the way, you don't have to break the whole project down into 100 steps or however many steps it is. All you need to do is figure out what's the next thing you need to do. And then put that down as your task and then do that. All right, that's tip number 1, break it down. Let's look at tip number 2, turn off distractions. It's easy to procrastinate when there's lots of distractions going on. So what can we do to eliminate distractions? Well, one thing we can do is, if you have an office with a door, is go in your office and shut the door. That sends you a message that I'm here to focus and get this stuff done with minimal distraction. And it sends a message to the people around you that right now you need to be left alone. Another thing we can do is turn off the ringer on our phone, put our phone in do not disturb mode, put our computer in do not disturb mode. And that way we won't get a lot of excess distractions. Now, those are pretty easy to do. You can Google how to do it. And there's a couple of articles actually even on my blog, which I'm going to post here in chat. Hopefully that works. So I posted 3 links in chat to articles on my blog for how to decrease distractions by turning off the ringer and by setting do not disturb on your phone and on your computer. For some people, maybe it's better just don't take the phone into the office with you. Put it out away so you can't look at it and can't be distracted by it. Whatever it takes, get rid of those distractions. So that's step number 2. Step number 3 is to set a timer. Put a time limit on how long you're going to spend working on this task. With a deadline, even an artificial deadline is created by setting a timer, you'll be more likely to focus and get that task done. I used to joke that projects obey the gas law. By that, I mean a project will expand to fulfill all available time. And you know what? It turns out I'm not only right, there's actually a name for that law. It's called Parkinson's law. Parkinson's law says that the amount of work required adjusts, usually increasing, to the time available for its completion. So allocate yourself an amount of time that's appropriate to get this task done, set a timer, and then work on that project and get it done before the timer expires. So tip number 3, set a timer. Tip number 4 is capture distractions to deal with later. You know, invariably when we're working on stuff, random thoughts pop into our head. Sometimes, like this example I gave with Janelle, those thoughts aren't really productive, but they're there and we need to get them out of our head. Sometimes they're really important things. Sometimes it's like, oh, I really need to do this. As soon as I get through with this, I got to work on something else. So what you want to do is create a way to capture those distractions. Write them down, get them out of your head, and then you can come back and process them later. So one tool I've used for this a lot is Evernote. I keep Evernote open, and when these new tasks come into my head, things I need to process, I can write them down, put them in Evernote, and then later I can come back and process them out of Evernote. Because although the things that are popping in my head might be really important, unless they're urgent and more important than what I'm working on right now, then I need to just mark them, save them for later, and process them later. So that's step number 4, capture distractions and process them later. And finally, tip number 5, just do it. Sometimes when we're facing an unpleasant task, we just have to suck it up and do it. Mark Twain once said, eat a live frog first thing in the morning and nothing worse will happen to you for the rest of the day. Sometimes you just got to eat the frog. If you're facing a task and it needs to be done and the previous tips haven't helped, well, maybe you just got to go ahead and do it. Get it done. And the funny thing is, I promise once you do that, it's going to feel a lot better. All right. So I know I promised 5 tips, but you know what? I'm going to throw in a bonus tip just because I'm that kind of guy. All right. Here's the bonus tip. Once you knock out the task you've been trying to procrastinate about, reward yourself. Celebrate the accomplishment. Bask in the fact that you actually got it done. Feel good about it. Enjoy it and celebrate it. All right. That's the 5 tips. Break it down. Turn off distractions. Set a timer. Capture distractions to deal with later. Just do it. And the bonus tip, reward yourself. All right. So are you feeling overwhelmed with all the stuff you need to do? You try to work, all of these thoughts come in your head. You need help capturing them, dealing with them later, prioritizing your tasks, breaking tasks down. If so, my online course, Control the Chaos, using Evernote to bring order and control to your life and business can help. I'm going to post the link here in chat. There we go. There's a link to it. And if you will use the code December 2020, that's DEC 2020, that'll get you 50% off the course through the end of December 20, just for watching me learn how to do these videos live. All right, that's it for now. Until next time, take care.